The most controversial thing about Perfect Crown is not even the crying scene involving Byeon Woo Seok. What truly unsettles viewers is something far more dangerous. The drama seems to be slowly destroying itself through its own promotional strategy. In the world of Korean television dramas, teasers are usually designed to spark curiosity without revealing too much. Perfect Crown, however, has taken the opposite route. The series repeatedly exposes its most emotionally powerful moments before the actual episodes air. And that has created a strange paradox. The harder the show promotes itself, the weaker the audience's emotional reaction becomes. Episode 8 became the clearest example of this problem. After receiving criticism for his somewhat limited emotional range in earlier episodes, Byeon Woo Seok finally delivered a scene that made viewers stop and re-evaluate him as an actor. It was the moment when Grand Prince Lee Ahn rushed up the hospital stairs instead of waiting for the elevator, desperate to see Hui Ju after learning that she had regained consciousness following the poisoning incident. The scene was surprisingly restrained rather than melodramatic. Lee Ahn opened the hospital room door, froze for a few seconds as if time itself had stopped, then suddenly ran toward Hui Ju and embraced her tightly. There was no overwhelming soundtrack. No exaggerated monologue. Just trembling breaths, reddened eyes, and a shaky voice barely able to form complete sentences. What made the scene memorable was not the tears themselves. It worked because, for the first time, Perfect Crown allowed viewers to witness the emotional collapse of a man who had always been portrayed as cold, composed, and untouchable. Earlier in the series, Lee Ahn was often criticized for appearing emotionally distant, expressionless, even stiff. But episode 8 transformed that emotional restraint into the foundation for a devastating breakdown. The longer someone suppresses their feelings, the more painful their collapse becomes. This was also one of the rare moments where Byeon Woo Seok used his visuals to support the performance rather than merely existing as an attractive screen presence. His sweat-soaked face, messy hair from running upstairs, and disheveled appearance made the scene feel more authentic than many of the drama's polished sequences before it. It should have been the emotional peak of the series. Instead, many viewers realized they had already watched most of that emotional impact in the teaser. MBC unintentionally turned episode 8's strongest scene into something reheated before broadcast. The teaser had already revealed Lee Ahn's tearful expression days earlier. As a result, when the full episode aired, viewers were no longer shocked or emotionally overwhelmed. Many simply watched while thinking, "Oh, this is that scene from the preview." And this has become Perfect Crown's biggest issue over the past few weeks. The drama is not failing because its story is terrible. It is not collapsing because of poor acting either. What is hurting Perfect Crown the most is a promotional campaign that continuously sabotages the viewing experience itself. Modern audiences do not watch teasers because they want the entire story spoiled in advance. They watch teasers to feel curious and emotionally intrigued. But Perfect Crown repeatedly chooses to reveal the answers before viewers even get to experience the journey. Emotional hugs, crying scenes, political confrontations, even key lines of dialogue have all been heavily exposed in trailers and previews. This becomes especially damaging for a drama with a fairly predictable structure. Perfect Crown follows a familiar Asian romance formula: political marriage, a cold male lead, an intelligent heroine, royal conspiracies, and healing love. There is nothing inherently wrong with this setup. The problem is that when the story itself lacks major twists, revealing too much in promotional content leaves audiences with almost nothing left to anticipate. That is why the drama's ratings have entered a strange phase. They are not collapsing, but they are no longer growing either. Recent episodes of Perfect Crown have maintained stable double-digit ratings, which is objectively solid. However, the explosive upward momentum seen during the first 4 episodes has noticeably disappeared. For a drama once expected to become a pan-Asian phenomenon, this stagnation is significant. The danger of stable ratings is not the numbers themselves. It is the feeling that audiences are gradually losing their obsession with the show. A truly explosive drama keeps viewers emotionally restless between episodes. Fans create theories, argue online, analyze previews frame by frame, and desperately wait for the next release. But Perfect Crown is slowly losing that energy because the production team has unintentionally removed the most important ingredient, surprise. And the controversy did not stop there. Disney Plus created another public relations issue after accidentally uploading the episode 8 teaser several hours earlier than scheduled. The mistake itself could have been handled calmly. However, instead of simply requesting reposted videos to be removed or limited, the platform aggressively issued copyright strikes across social media. What truly angered fans was the fact that major fan pages, communities that had essentially been promoting the drama for free for months, were also affected. From the audience's perspective, this was an extremely counterproductive move. Fans are no longer just viewers. They are the most powerful voluntary marketing force in modern K-drama culture. Viral edits, reaction clips, fan theories, GIFs, and couple analyses are what keep dramas alive beyond broadcast hours. By targeting the very communities generating online buzz, Disney Plus and MBC were accused of destroying the word-of-mouth momentum they desperately needed. The backlash intensified further after IUVN, one of the largest Vietnamese fan pages dedicated to IU, was reportedly affected. Vietnam has become one of the most active international markets discussing Perfect Crown, making the controversy even louder. Ironically, Perfect Crown is still far from being a failed drama. In fact, it still possesses many strengths other series would envy: strong international visibility, compelling chemistry between IU and Byeon Woo Seok, visually stunning cinematography, a successful soundtrack, and an enormous fanbase. Yet as the series approaches its finale, viewers increasingly feel that the drama is not losing because competitors are stronger, but because it keeps weakening itself. Only 4 episodes remain before Perfect Crown comes to an end. At this point, audiences are not simply hoping for a happy ending between Lee Ahn and Hui Ju. They are hoping that MBC finally stops revealing the entire story before each episode airs. Because sometimes, what keeps viewers emotionally attached is not the crying scene, the kiss, or even the plot twist itself. It is the feeling of not knowing what will happen next. And unfortunately, that may be the very thing Perfect Crown is losing the fastest.